On News Center now, how one of Southern Maine's largest food pantries is trying to help people affected by the government shutdown.
Plus, what's the connection between this book, all these boxes, and your closet? The answer is Netflix. We'll explain.
And as the government shutdown continues, a lot of people are talking about it, but when will it end? We want to know what you have to say. This is News Center now.
The government shutdown going on for weeks. When will it end? Good evening, everybody. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. The shutdown has affected a lot of people, and a lot of people who use food pantries, right? Including one of the largest ones in our entire state. This one's located in York County, and Chris Costa spent some time there today. This pantry serves a lot of different people.
Yeah, Lee and Lindsay, it does about 3,000 people per month. One volunteer told me that since the government shutdown started, they've been seeing even more people come in trying to get food, and now they're a little bit concerned about what will happen if the government shutdown does not end soon.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you this card.
Bob Searway welcomes people into what can be an uncomfortable place.
They're here because really they have to be.
Handing people in need a shopping cart to pick up food from the York County Shelter Program's food pantry.
I want to make sure that they'll feel comfortable coming through here.
The pantry already serves thousands each month. In the midst of the government shutdown, they're reaching out to Coast Guard families and the hundreds of others who rely on SNAP benefits.
January, February, March in Maine is tough already on us. So if we can reach out and let people know right now, don't let the ripple effect affect you in March. If we can help them now and get people through right now, that's what we're looking to do.
Governor Janet Mills said that the people who rely on SNAP benefits will be able to get them early for the month of February. But if the government shutdown continues, roughly 180,000 people could be without the money they need to buy healthy food.
Once these SNAP benefits run out, our doors are open and we are welcome. We're well stocked.
Yeah, take your time. There's no hurry.
According to the governor's office, more than 61% of Maine's SNAP participants are in families with children. Nearly half are in families with members who are elderly or have disabilities.
Okay, let's do this.
People like Bob hope that a friendly hello
Take 4 items total off there. We got a lot today.
can make these uncertain times a little easier.
The rewarding thing is when somebody says something, gives you a thank you, or sometimes it's just a look.
Knowing that a little help made a big difference. So if you got SNAP benefits in January and you were supposed to get them in February, don't worry, you're still going to get them. They're coming on January 17th, according to the governor's office, but the governor is advising people to budget wisely because those people who receive SNAP benefits will not get another allotment in February. Meanwhile, the Coast Guard just recently received a $15 million donation from USAA. And we've heard of many businesses giving these people who are affected by the shutdown some help. And the latest is the Bangor YMCA offering free memberships to government employees who are not being paid right now. So Lee and Lindsay, a lot of different organizations trying to help people during this uncertain time.
All right, Chris, thank you. And as you guys can see at the bottom of the screen here, we've been asking you already, this is our poll question of the day. When do you think this government shutdown will end? It's really what everybody is talking about. 25% of you say before February, 42% of you say hopefully before March, and 33% of you saying before 2020.
Pretty scattered across the board.
Yeah. So we'll keep asking you throughout the day. And again, a lot of people talking about us. This is your chance to just let us know what you think. When will this end?
All right, we're turning our attention to the weather now. It was actually pretty tolerable out there today.
I could
Not
do
bad.
winter if it was like today.
Yeah.
Things are about to change though. It looks like we have a couple storms on the way, guys. One on Friday, possibly one much bigger one on Sunday. Right now, or these were the high temperatures today. Most of us made it into the upper 20s and low to mid 30s. Temperatures at or finally a little bit above normal for this time of year. So yeah, it did feel pretty good out there today. Temperatures have cooled off. This is what it feels like now. A little bit of a wind chill in some spots. Feels like 18 currently in Bangor. Feels like 30 in Portland, but 28 in both Lewiston and Augusta. Mostly clear skies, a couple clouds moving into far southern Maine. Other than that, not a lot going on. We will see some mountain flurries tomorrow. But after that, we're watching this next storm, believe it or not, all the way across the country. That's the one that's going to be affecting us on Friday. A couple inches of snow possible. Really not a big deal with that one, but a little bit later on in the weekend, things could get a little bit more interesting. It looks like some snow, possibly some ice too on the way. So we'll of course talk about that in detail coming up in just a bit, guys.
All right, Jess, thank you very much. In the news today, it's the 10th anniversary of the Miracle on the Hudson. Flight 1549 left New York City's LaGuardia Airport en route to Charlotte when the plane struck a flock of Canadian geese shortly after takeoff. Unable to reach any nearby airports, pilots Chesley Sullenberger and Jeffrey Skiles glided the plane into the Hudson River. All 155 people on board survived that crash.
And today, Sully tweeting out a detailed recount of the events that happened that day, including that this was a problem he never prepared for when learning how to fly. There's some more tweets from him too that are worth checking out. All right, speaking of the Twitterverse, first it was the Bird Box Challenge, now it's Spark Joy. Netflix is at it again, influencing the trends you see on your news feeds.
It's all about the new show, Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. She asks one question: do the items you have in your home spark joy? It's causing people to chuck it all, purge their closets. Melissa tweets, I've watched 2 episodes of the show. I finished the book last night. I am just starting on the clothing pile so far. Half of my clothes, and shoes do spark joy. Even my heavy black bogs for walking my dog in the icy woods.
Doesn't get more Maine than that. Join the conversation right now using hashtag SparkJoyMaine. In the meantime, regardless of whether you've seen the show, it's a bargain hunter's time to pounce.
You feel better when there's more space and less stuff.
That's what I'm doing, dropping off clothes, dropping off books.
It's a weekday morning at the Goodwill Donation Center in Falmouth. And there's a sense of urgency in the air to keep up with an increase in donations.
Our donations are up 50% over last year.
Heather Steves of Goodwill Northern New England can't say for sure, but she believes there's a pretty solid connection between the spike and this.
They have so much stuff.
It's a never-ending battle to fight the clutter.
A new show that debuted at the start of the new year on Netflix. Marie Kondo's Tidying Up. Her folding method promises to save space. She also says we should only keep the items that bring us joy.
I like to go room by room.
Donna Hall is a professional organizer. She says there's certainly some great takeaways from the Spark Joy method, but it might not be for everyone.
You have to find a method that you can keep up. That is the bottom line. So if that folding method is too much for you, maybe hanging is the way to go.
Curious to know more? Marie Kondo also authored a couple books, and there's a good chance you could actually find a copy here.
Something that always makes me giggle when I enter the store is when I see Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Act of Tidying Up, on our shelves. That's just so funny to me. Like, oh, someone thought this no longer sparks joy.
From quirky decorations to shoes that dazzle, donated items at Goodwill are flying off the shelves almost as fast as they come in, making for a bargain hunter's paradise. And speaking of Netflix, if you subscribe, get ready to shell out more cash. The streaming site's cheapest basic plan will cost $9, up from $8. Its most popular HD standard plan will cost $13, up from $11. For new customers, these price changes take effect immediately. Existing subscribers will be grandfathered in over the next 3 months. Well, some incredible images of a giant ice disk floating and rotating in the Presumpscot River in Westbrook. Check this out. This is a time-lapse shot from our drone today. The ice is slowly rotating counterclockwise. Looks a little bit like the moon, doesn't it?
So cool.
It's mesmerizing. Well, Ryan Bretton's going to have much more on this work of art, I guess, by Mother Nature ahead on News Center Maine at 6 o'clock.
So many people on my social media feed went to Westbrook today and were like, I got to see it. Yeah, it's becoming a thing. It's
an attraction.
It's an attraction. You sell tickets, sell fun t-shirts. All right, checking our Pulse poll right now. We want to know what you think. When will the government shut down? And we've been asking you to vote. 19% of you say before February, 44% of you saying before March, and 37% of you saying before 2020. We'll keep an eye on it. All right, we're going to come back, but before we do, we want to ask, how hard has aging hit you?
I've seen this too everywhere.
We're going to take a look at some of the best posts from the 10-year challenge on social media.
And Cameron O'Brien shows us how you can be a foodie despite your allergies.
Facebook.
What's going on?
Oh, I gotta find you. Must find face of the book. Here we go. The ice thing
It
is
looks like the
hysterical.
moon.
It's so cool.
It doesn't even look real, does it?
No, what is Ryan's explanation? I haven't heard.
You're gonna have to watch News Center Maine at 6.
Okay, fine, I will. Mary Lou and David and hold on, there's a lot to get to here.
Annette says, just so people know, not all the government is shut down. Annette, you are correct. It is a partial government shutdown, but it's one that's affecting hundreds of thousands of workers across the country.
800,000. I think I still have the mic that doesn't work. Sorry, guys.
800,000.
She's gonna grow a few inches. Do you need me for a 3-shot or something?
Jody says, hopefully the shutdown ends before March. Oh, yeah.
During the break, you mean? What do we have? Oh, is my mic working finally? Oh, also, did you guys see the biggest upset in history? It wasn't a sporting event. It was the fact that Allen's Coffee Brandy, which has dominated #1 liquor of Maine, has now been beaten by Fireball. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
That was a shock.
It's been on the chart all day.
So many jokes. It's always been about Allen's Coffee Brandy. I don't drink it.
Which I've never tried.
Or coffee. So.
I don't think Fireball goes well with milk.
No, I don't do Fireball either. So.
Melinda asks, does anyone know if the prison guards are getting paid? I have family members that are going to suffer without pay if they are not getting paid.
I believe that prison guards are not federal.
Yeah.
Unless they're at a federal prison. But I don't remember hearing them on the list.
So yeah, guys, thanks for joining the conversation. Just, as always, keep it polite. David's watching from Damascotta. Shannon's watching from Lincoln.
All right, we have to take it back a little bit.
Bye.
Maddie.
Yeah, it's on.
So the question of the day is, what did you look like 10 years ago? The latest social media craze is a 10-year challenge, or what some people are calling the "How hard did aging hit you" challenge. Users are asked to post a picture from 10 years ago and compare with a photo of themselves from this year. The result, it's kind of interesting. Even celebrities are having fun with it, so let's check them out. First up, comedian Ellen DeGeneres posted on Instagram, "I never realized how different I hold my hand now." She has not changed at all. All right, so actress Brie Larson posted, "Well, am I doing this right?" while chowing down on a slice of pizza. And model Chrissy Teigen tweeted, "Googled myself in 2009. How is John gonna look exactly the same?" referring to her husband, John Legend. And Chance the Rapper trolled us all, posting a photo of former child star Philip Bolden with a caption, "Still learning, still growing." And thank you, social media, for keeping my Tuesday interesting and reassuring us that some things do get better with time. Isn't that right, Lee?
Oh, see? I know all about things that age. Yes, I do.
Like a fine wine.
Thanks for pointing that out, Maddie. Wow, great to have you here on your last day.
Nothing like when the mentor gets a little dig from.
Yeah, that's really great. I'm so excited to have her here. Okay, also making the rounds on social media, a new ad by Gillette says men's behavior has to get better. This goes along with their slogan, "The best a man can get." Gillette now wants to be promoting more positive versions of what it means to be a man. They tweeted an almost 2-minute video with the caption, "Boys will be boys. Isn't it time we stopped excusing bad behavior?" Some people say the ad is great. Others think it's insulting to men and full of stereotypes. The company is also promising to donate $1 million for the next 3 years to nonprofits that help men be their best.
Well, the government shutdown and when it could end is the focus of tonight's Pulse Poll. So when do you think the gridlock will break over funding for a border wall? Vote right now at pulse.newscentermaine.com or at our mobile app. Coming up, Cameron O'Brien starts her adventures of finding good eats in Maine for people with allergies.
And consistently off is Keith. So Jess is here to make good use of that whiteboard. Coming up next.
So obviously that wasn't a That's So Maine. It was Gillette. I think we had.
Did we run it open?
We had on the title it said That's So Maine Gillette. So just to clarify.
Didn't see it.
Yeah, Paul says that ice disc is awesome.
Annette. Hi. I respect your opinion. That's what we're supposed to do. I will say, as the father of someone who has a child in the Coast Guard who's not getting paid, that it's a really big deal. So
yeah, can you move to your left
this is their Coast Guard specifically. They're being asked to protect our country, and in some cases put their lives at risk, and they're doing it for they can't pay their bills. So 800,000 is better than 20 million, sure, but you know, one person who doesn't get to pay their bills is too many, in my opinion. So I think it should end regardless if it's 800,000 people, 800 people, 800 million people. Nobody should have to go to work and risk their lives for free.
Sure. Melinda's talking about strategy. She says, of course, he wants a wall. Personally, she thinks they should give him the money and then take it away from him right away, just to end the gridlock. Patrick says, let Trump pay for it if he wants it. Will says the news media should ask Congress to vote for border security live. That might actually do something. Jody also asking, why doesn't President Trump pay for the wall with his own money? Yeah. That gridlock is over $5 billion in funding, I think. Yeah.
Yep, for the yes.
I always hesitate when I say the word billion because when you think about it, that is a huge number. It's crazy.
So I heard it, and this is not political, so don't get mad at me, it's just math. There's obviously a lot of debate over $5 billion for a wall, and the Big Dig in Boston cost $25 billion.
No, really?
Yeah. So which was obviously a nightmare that lasted way too long.
They made a Brigham's ice cream flavor about it.
It was $25 billion for the Big Dig fiasco in Boston to fix the roads.
Interesting.
And it's only $5 billion to put up a wall.
Interesting. That's a nice little factoid.
That's math.
Yeah. I like the Big Dig flavor of Brigham's ice cream when they had it. It's not a thing anymore.
All right, kids, we talked a little bit about this yesterday with Cameron O'Brien, a self-proclaimed foodie, but her food allergies often get in the way of finding good places to eat.
It's the worst. Cam's allergic to, let me make sure I get this. I'm not even going to look at the script.
How much time do we have?
All right, dairy, gluten, and soy.
Yep.
Any others?
That's that I know of. Yeah, not right now.
So
it is a lot.
How can you still be a foodie and embrace such a great state we have with all the best food options?
Well, Maine's actually really good about finding food allergy-friendly places, whether it's in Portland or through the mid-coast or up north. I've heard a lot about people being able to eat even if they have restrictions, and I'm so excited to share this with y'all because one of the hardest things for me has been finding those places because oftentimes they fly under the radar. So I want to put it out in the open so y'all know where to eat. Hey, I'm Cameron O'Brien, and I'm a foodie with a nasty set of food allergies. We're talking gluten, dairy, and soy. So today, I'm on a mission to find gluten freedom in Maine. It turns out it exists in my own backyard. But hold on, let's back up a bit. What is gluten anyway?
Gluten is a protein that is in wheat, barley, and rye. It gives the chewy consistency of things like bread.
That's Kylie Fagnano. She's a dietitian and owns Strata Nutrition in Portland. Kylie and I fall into the group of people that have a non-celiac gluten allergy.
They don't have an autoimmune disease. The lining of their intestinal tract is not being destroyed by the gluten, but other symptoms are manifesting as a result.
Symptoms that range from headaches to joint pain, nausea, and everything in between.
The availability of gluten-free products and the availability of restaurants that are offering gluten-free alternatives has been magical for those of us who really, really need it.
Okay, so back to gluten freedom in my own backyard. Enter Bam Bam Bakery, the mecca of all things gluten-free in Portland. The shop opened in 2012 as the first dedicated gluten-free bakery in the state.
The things that Bevan was putting out, the cakes and the cinnamon rolls, they were genius. And every time I came in, it was like, oh, I want to try this and I want to try that.
That's Tina Cromwell. She took over the reins of the bakery in 2017. But she first came to Bam Bam as a customer. And yep, you guessed it, she's got a gluten allergy too. That's why she's determined to create sweet and savory treats that stand out from the pack.
We want to make things that taste really good, that make people not miss what they used to have. And I think we're doing a really good job.
Obviously, I had to test the goods out for myself.
So this is a gluten-free cake here?
This is a gluten-free cake. Do you want to taste it?
Yeah.
Okay, take a little, you can eat the whole thing if you want. So that was our revamped vanilla.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And then I got to work, making a batch of Funky Monkey cookies with Tina's daughter, Michaela. The first ingredient, 10 pounds of peanut butter.
Yeah, we got bananas and sugar and curry powder, which is the secret ingredient.
Okay, so what does the curry powder do?
That's what makes them funky monkeys.
All right. But Michaela's favorite part is how people react to finding gluten freedom.
People come in, so do you have anything that's gluten-free? And we say, everything is gluten-free. And they say, everything? And we say, yes. Everything. We have it up on the side up there too. That's wonderful. But especially when little kids come in and they say, "Can I have that?" And Mom says, "Yeah, you can."
Like Lynn Spence and her son Matthew, who has celiac disease. They came down from the Mid-Coast to give Bam Bam a try.
Oh, we came in here and saw all the beautiful desserts. It was really exciting.
What do you think of the pizza?
It's delicious.
And Michelle, who comes in once a month for her sweet tooth fix.
I usually get macaroons. I'm like addicted to coconut.
What's next for Bam Bam? Gluten-free world domination. Just kidding. Well, kinda. Expanding their brand is definitely a goal, but right now, they're happy making Mainers happy.
Pretty psyched with where things are, and yeah, of course I would love to make it a household name.
Oh, that was so much fun to shoot and produce for you guys, and I'm so looking forward to traveling around the state and finding allergy and lifestyle-friendly eats. So let me know if you have an allergy or lifestyle-friendly place that you want me to check out. Now, the other half of this series is going to focus on exercise because group fitness and food, those are like my passions, group fitness, food, and my cats. So we're going to focus on, group fitness, and if you have a fun thing that you think I should try, jiu-jitsu, rock climbing, boxing, let me know. I'll go and do it.
Anything with cats, like cat yoga?
Yes, goat yoga.
Because I know goat yoga is a thing.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
I try to do yoga at home with the dogs.
She's going to want to do that now.
Well, that'd be fun.
Okay. Cam's going to stick around and answer your questions about allergies, whether it's food or you wanted to get out there and try some boxing cats or jiu-jitsu. So hang out on our Facebook feed. We'll talk to Cam during our commercial break. All right. Jess promised to tell us more about so much fun coming up. Yay, Jess.
Yay, snow. So we do have a couple storms on the way. We'll talk about those in just a second. Temperatures today weren't that bad, right? Most of us made it into the upper 20s, low to mid 30s. Right now, still 30 in Portland, 28 in Augusta. Bangor's at 24 degrees. So not too bad teens, though, across northern Maine. Satellite radar does not have a lot going on. You can see a few snow showers off to our west. We will get a few flurries in the mountains tomorrow. tomorrow. The rest of us, though, will be partly sunny, so pretty quiet the next couple of days. You can see going through tomorrow morning, we're going to start out in the upper teens and lower 20s as we go into tomorrow afternoon. There are those snow flurries there, again, mainly in northern Maine and in the mountains. Temperatures warm up a few more degrees. We'll make it into the low to mid 30s. Most of us will. A couple flurries stick around into tomorrow night. Then as we go into the day on Thursday, it will get very cold before the first storm. And then it's going to get very cold again before the second storm. Thursday morning at 8 o'clock, most of us are starting out in the single digits, and the temperatures really are going to have a tough time warming up too. We'll only make it into the teens, maybe a couple low 20s in far southern Maine. A few clouds move in by Thursday afternoon. And then we're looking at a storm for Friday. This storm, not going to be a huge one, but it does have the potential. It looks like it will interrupt both the morning and even more so the evening commute. 8 o'clock on Friday morning, snowing pretty much statewide, some light snow out there. Then as we go into Friday afternoon and into Friday evening, you can see that snow picks up in intensity at least a little bit. Total snowfall accumulations, not huge with this first storm on Friday, but again, enough to make it slick for both the morning and evening commute. Most of us around an inch or two. Not too bad. We can deal with that on Friday. But of course, the storm that everyone's talking about is the one that's going to come on Sunday. Very cold going into Saturday. What's going to happen is this high pressure moves over. It's bringing air from the north. Saturday is going to be extremely cold. As this storm moves in on Sunday, it's going to be very cold. A lot of cold air in place, lots of snow to start. It does look like we could change over to some freezing rain. I know that's not what anyone wants to hear. However, by Sunday afternoon, some freezing rain is possible. We're talking about significant icing. Again, it's possible. We are still about 4.5 days out on this one, but we are keeping an eye on it because it looks like we could get some pretty big snowfall and even possibly some big ice totals from that storm. Seas tomorrow 4 to 6 feet. Winds could gust as high as 30 knots. Here's your extended forecast going through the next few days. Again, not too bad tomorrow. Mid 30s, few mountain flurries, cold and sunny for the day on Thursday. A little bit of snow on Friday. Not a big deal as long as you're driving safely on Friday, then really cold on Saturday, and then that storm on Sunday. We're still pretty much on track for something, whether it's an all snow event or we get some freezing rain mixing in on the coast, or even maybe just a little bit of plain rain. Yet to be determined. We got a few more days to figure that out, but
good thing everybody has Monday off for the most part because they might need it. So
yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks.
News Maine at 5:30 coming up next. Pat Callahan with a look at what's coming up. Hey, Pat.
Hi, Lee and Lindsay. Governor Janet Mills is signing off on some voter-approved bonds that her predecessor let sit for more than 3 years. These bonds will clear the way for construction of affordable housing for seniors. A fire at the busy community center in Westbrook means some vital services are going to have to be shifted somewhere else, at least for several weeks. Shannon Moss will fill us in on what happened. And a shortage of school bus drivers has created some serious problems, and parents aren't convinced that the problem has been resolved. Jackie Mundry will have the latest on that. It's all coming up in just a few minutes on News Center at 5:30.
Pat, thanks so much. We're going to check in on our Pulse poll when we come back.
All right. Cameron.
My thing booted out.
All right, we've got, they want you to try CrossFit.
Cool.
That's
I'll do
one.
It. Yeah.
You need to try Trips Primal Bakery on Center Street in Auburn.
Okay.
Ooh. Jenny and Gary make amazing everything.
Trips Primal Bakery. Okay.
Yeah, and then they sent a link actually to the kitchen.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So actually,
Thanks.
those are two separate people. One posted the idea, another one posted the link.
Great.
And then actually someone else also just said Trips. So
Okay,
Trips
so
Farmhouse
that's a
is
definite.
in the lead right now with 3 separate people. Best gluten-free food I've ever had, says Tracy. And somebody wanted to know if you had a yeast allergy as well.
No. I don't have a yeast allergy, but that is always something that I can look into if folks do and are curious.
I have a question. You said yesterday that your allergies kind of developed later in life.
Yep.
I don't remember hearing that. I usually hear people get it early. Sometimes you can grow out of them. I don't know a lot of people who grow into them. So how did you know? Were you just all of a sudden eating stuff and you're like, okay, what's up?
Right. So when I was 15, I was in high school. I would eat bread and pasta like every high schooler in the world, but I would get really sick, you know, and my rationale at the time was, okay, I'm just not going to eat, period. My mom was like, no, just don't eat that. And when I stopped, I felt a lot better. Anytime I would introduce it, I'd be in miserable amounts of pain. Now, my mom says I had a dairy allergy as a kid, and then it went away and came back later. So
that's so crazy.
So when you were 14, pasta, no problem. And then something happened from 14 to 15 where all of a sudden you couldn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, I've had kidney stones too, so my doctors have said, maybe it's because you ate this for so long. You know, this is a reason why you've had these stones, because you didn't eliminate it before, you know, X age.
That's really interesting.
They've seen that with a lot of people with food allergies and intolerances. You know, there's a buildup that happens.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I used to nanny for 2 little boys that had food allergies, and that was always scary for me because I wasn't familiar. I had never had food allergies. I wasn't familiar with what to do, and they were allergic to egg. And
that's a hard one. Egg is definitely
egg. And one of my best friends growing up, she was allergic to all dairy and eggs too. Like no butter, no nothing.
Well, I'm already here. Where do you want me at?
No, not there. Where does he want us? Stay the desk. Sorry.
6 seconds.
Okay, bye.
Sorry.
We want to know what you think about the government shutdown, partial shutdown.
We were just running around, that's why I was laughing.
Well, and I was over there, she was over there. Okay, before February, 22%, before March, 47%, before 2020, 31% of you. Thank you for weighing in on our Pulse poll.
Yeah.
We appreciate your opinions.
Check this out. I think we have time for it. Do we? Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Is that Tom Brady? Is it Bill Belichick? Is it both?
This is a mural from students at Brown Elementary School in Peabody, Massachusetts. It's made out of Legos and it changes, so it
freaky.
Messes with you. All right.
That's pretty crazy.
Sums up this Patriots era. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.
Is it Lindsay? Is it Lindsay? Is it Lee? Who is it? Is it LG?
Full disclosure, I was not laughing at the government shutdown. I was laughing because we literally were running around.
Lindsay
you guys know
was
that.
Going that way. I was over there. And
Yeah.
He was like, get back to the desk.
He was like,
So
6
we got back
seconds,
to the
6 seconds
desk.
in our ears. So.
Okay, bye. Whoop. Bye. Chris Cross is here. Chris says bye as well.